So before we start, I always share that humans, one of the best motivating factor for all of us is the stories we learn from. I still have fond memories of my teachers. I'm not sure how many of you have seen, but I actually studied in a Guruji school where the teacher used to come in the dhoti. And the kind of respect I had seen. Recently I went to one school and I've seen interacting with class 12 student. And the kind of answers they were giving, I thought that life has changed so much. We were like, can't speak. When sir is there, you're not allowed to speak. You're only allowed to follow what you do. So I always suggest teachers that where you can motivate the students, you can motivate them through stories. There are some stories we all can learn from. And I wanted to share some of my favorite stories of teachers who have changed the world, but for better. Have you heard about Anna Sullivan and Helen Keller? Huh? The favorite story? Helen Keller was born deaf and blind. But her teacher had the patience to handle her. She taught her, guided her, made sure she do something well in life, and today we all know who Helen Keller is. One of the lessons that we can learn from Helen Keller and her story of her teacher is that patience and perseverance are vital. Never underestimate your impact. Your efforts can unlock a student's potential, no matter how challenging the circumstances. I'm not sure if you have heard you are in a premium school, you are part of DPS. Some of the top, most reputed and most recognized school chain in India and in the world. Do you know Coca-Cola? What do you think about Coca-Cola? What is Coca-Cola popular for? It's a drink. Coca-Cola and Nike are the two world's most recognized global brands. Somebody sees this red, you recognize Coca-Cola. Somebody sees the shoes, you recognize Nike. Do you know which other brand is recognized equivalent to Coca-Cola in the country in education? Speak loudly. It's Delhi Public School. You can clap for yourself. DPS is equivalent to what Coca-Cola into beverages. DPS is the most recognized education brand in the country. I meet a lot of teachers throughout the year. Not less than 1,000 teachers at least. And one of the things I have seen in teachers is there's not enough motivation. There's not enough content for you. There's not enough challenges for you. And you always feel like that, are you contributing enough? We all have those fond memories of our teachers. We all remember who our teachers are. Do you remember the first doctor you went to? Do you remember the doctor who gave you the first injection or first vaccine? Huh? Yes or no? How many of you remember your first doctor? How many of you remember your first doctor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But how many of you remember your first teacher? Now imagine the impact. Can you see the difference of impact? We all are taught to become a doctor, to become an engineer, to become a pilot, to become this, to become that, to become everything, but not a teacher. But who do we recognize most? Who do we remember most? Who has the most impact on our life? I still remember the teacher who beaten me the most. Right? I was an outstanding student. Education was not my thing. I was smart. I wanted to do something. But if you tell me to do physics, probably not. And then I remember how one teacher came in my life. I still remember Vinay sir, who came in my life, guided me and told me that, Ashish, I can see the spark in you. I know you want to do something. I can see the energy, but I'm not seeing the interest. So can you tell me out of these 5 things what interests you most? And I said, sir, English. यही मेरा interest है, इसी में मजा आता है मेरे को. Oh, okay. And he was an English teacher. And then he holded my hand. I understood the importance of communication, worked hard for 2 years to build the communication skills. I come from Hindi medium, UP background, typical, what I'm speaking I cannot imagine because for half of my life I was speaking the typical Hindi language, which अगर मैं बोलूँगा तो आप समझ नहीं पाओगे, right? But he told me the importance of communication and that was a life-changing moment for me. Still, if I say that who has contributed most in my life, it would be always Vinay sir. And that's the impact a teacher has. A student will remember you lifetime for the small things you have done because what time you are doing is the most vital in a student's life. Let me tell you one more story, and I'm personally very inspired by this story. Do you know about Rajesh Kumar? Who is he? Rajesh Kumar ran a school without a building for 15 years under a metro bridge. And he has taught over 5,000 students who cannot afford education. Imagine the determination. Rajesh started at the age of 36. Right? The time when you start a family, the time when it is a high time for your career, the time when you want to do something, you want to become something, you have societal pressure. And all he decided to start is a school for students who cannot afford the fee also. And he cannot afford to build a building. But he found a solution that you can do if you are determined without resources also. And that is how Rajesh ended up starting a school under a metro bridge in Delhi, ran it for 15 years and taught over 5,000 students. A key lesson for us, it's not the resources that make a great teacher, but the passion and commitment to educating every child, no matter the circumstances. When I do student session, the first thing I tell them is that you are the luckiest generation. Do you know how many countries are there in the world? 193. And any other option? 204. Okay, the last I checked is 197, 196 officially recognized, 1 not recognized, 197, the figure might be different. But if I take 196 as an option, that this is the many countries we have. Do you know where India stands as an economy? 4th? Yeah? 5-4. We were 5th, we are coming on 4th, and we are targeting to become 3rd. So you can imagine the colony you live in has 196 houses and you are the 3rd richest or 4th richest. That is the position of your country today. You are the 4th richest. Now imagine in 200 houses if you are 4th richest, are you lucky or not? Yeah? How many cities India would have? I'm not talking about the exact number because even I don't know. But all I can think is more than 500 cities in the country and then lakhs of villages. Which cities stand as number 1 for the jobs and startups? Huh? So in India, you are 3rd richest out of 200 houses. But even in that house, you have the biggest fridge, you have the biggest TV, you have the biggest everything. Does that make you lucky? I'm just giving you a perspective, not a reality. So you are sitting. Now imagine in Bangalore, how many schools are there? How many schools would be there in Bangalore? Huh? Last I checked, I think we have more than 1,000 CBSE schools only. And if I take overall number, it would be in thousands. And you are in a premium school, DPS, which everyone recognizes. Your schools alone has 7,000 students. I'm not sure how many schools will have 7,000 students. You can count out number 1, 2, 3, 4, maximum. You would be a top 5 school in Bangalore. Now, if you see in the pyramid, that you will see 200 countries, top 4, in top 4, top city, in top city, top school. If that is the kind of resources you are sitting on, imagine how much you can contribute. It's all about the passion and motivation that I want. The next thing is the journey, 10-year journey of Jamie Escante. Now, this is a high school math teacher, okay, and he's struggling. Believed his student could master calculus. Now, this is amazing story. If you want to understand more about him, go and search the movie Stand and Deliver. This man worked for 10 years on one single topic, that is teaching calculus, and made sure even the weakest student who want to study maths made it. Believe in your students' potential even when others don't. High expectations and hard work can produce incredible results. If I go back in time, if I have a time machine and I go back to my class 10th or class 11th and ask some of my teachers that what do you think about my future? They will say very dark. More darker than the black hole. Right? Because those did not believe in my potential. And same stories you would have. You would have so many students who would not be that good in school. Might be living in some other world. Might not be understanding what is happening. Might not be understanding why I need to study physics. I had one simple question to my teachers. Boss, what do I do with this advanced maths? You tell me the practical application, I'll study. We'll come on that. How do you tell the practical application? Because that's a big challenge that we face. Oh, this is my favorite story. In 2019, I wrote a book called Celebrate the Real Celebrities. And in that, I picked 50 stories of people who are very unknown but have delivered incredible results. And in that, I picked one story, which is the name of Pyong Temjem Jamir. So this person belongs to Nagaland. Okay. Now, in the 1960s, he came to Agra. There is a city in UP called Agra to study Hindi. In Nagaland, he was living. He came to North India and he came to study Hindi. Now, he studied Hindi, he completed, but then he got to know about his old parents and he had to go back to Nagaland. Now, this person did his graduation and post-graduation in Hindi. Going back to Nagaland, not fitting. What do I do? I only know Hindi, but nobody speaks Hindi here. What else can I do? I don't know, because he has not studied anything else. So all he did is, he started teaching Hindi. The language is a very sensitive topic in our country, and you all know that. When where nobody speaks Hindi and he is promoting Hindi, he was termed as anti-Nagas. He was termed as somebody who is against the society. Because he is promoting something which people don't want. But this man got his determination slowly and gradually. That this is what I know, this is what I contribute. He had a lot of attacks, he had a lot of problems, but do you know what happens eventually? For his 30 to 35 years service, it is told that today in Northeast, especially in Arunachal Pradesh and Nagaland, if people speak Hindi, it is because of this one person. So he connected so many people back to the country. Because of him, so many people could understand what is North India, what is Delhi, what is other cities, and could travel to this part because they learned the language there. And for his services, he got the Padma Shri. He would have never imagined that somebody who is so unfit teaching Hindi in Nagaland would end up being a Padma Shri. A teacher's dedication can break down barriers, whether linguistic or cultural. Your efforts can create unity, empower communities, and leave a lasting legacy, just like Padma Shri Temjem Jamir did. The power of handwritten letters, again a very, very good story of this person who saw that lot of students are underconfident, lot of students are being bullied, lot of students are not able to utilize their full potential. So this person, rather than talking to these students, decided an unusual path. he started writing handwritten letters to students, telling them what they are good at, making them confident, telling them their unique abilities and what they can do. Sometimes small gestures of kindness and personal attentions can leave a lasting impact. You never know. That small moment, what you do for a student, that can create a lasting impact for life. Ron Clark, the teacher who changed life, there's a movie called The Ron Clark Story. I want all of you to go watch this movie. An energetic and innovative teacher took on one of the most challenging classes in Harman, and he used the technique of singing songs and performing raps to teach history and maths. He captured his student attention and transformed their academic performance. He later founded the Ron Clark Academy. Creativity in teaching can break through even the toughest students. Think outside the box to make learning exciting and impactful. So these are some of the stories that are my favorite, that I learned watching, learning, understanding how different areas, from maths to geography, from resources to without resources, from fit to unfit. You have every category of people who can inspire you and tell you to do something which is unusual. Do you have any story to share?